harder to find this place in the daylight than it was at night. That is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Good afternoon, YouTubers. Look where we are today. We're halfway up a mountain in the Elan Valley next to Caban Coch Dam. It is stunning. Just look at this view. Funny enough, this isn't actually the first time I've climbed up here. So last week I climbed up here in the dark. Now I know what you're thinking, isn't that a little bit dangerous and unsafe? And yes, I totally agree, 100%. But there's always a but. I didn't climb here alone. I came up here with a local expert who'd scouted this location many times in the day, so I felt pretty safe. We took the ascent really slowly and made sure we were on the correct path, which I wasn't on today. I got lost coming up here already in the daylight. So yeah, being with an expert really helped. And as I said, he climbed it many times. I tried climbing the same path in the daytime, and yeah, I've ended up scrambling up some of the rocks over there. So yeah, not as easy in the day as I thought it was going to be. And once you get up here, you feel pretty safe, apart from the small drop. Now, apart from the small drop, which believe me was ingrained in my mind the whole night. It's all I kept thinking about. Like, don't move, there's a drop there, there's a drop there, don't move. I had another problem. Because I hadn't really scouted the location in the day, I didn't really know what to shoot. I had no composition set up, didn't really know where to position my camera. The moon was starting to set down here, the Milky Way was starting to rise over here, and it's pitch black. So after setting the tripod up and getting the camera all ready, I took a few rubbish out of focus shots, and then I captured this, which I absolutely love. I love the moon setting, the reds in the foreground, the Milky Way in the left, and Caban Coch Dam underneath. I shot this at ISO 1600, f2.8, 15 seconds exposure at 14mm. For those that don't know, I have a Nikon Z5, and it's the 14 to 24mm lens, 2.8. I kept the ISO down and the exposure time at 15 seconds because the moon is fairly bright. Even though this is a quarter moon, it still lets off a fair amount of light. But then it sets and my photos go dark. So this photo has the same settings, but with no moon. Just as I'm about to tweak my settings, a car comes up from the valley. Now I kept the same settings, but at half the ISO, because the amount of light this car was giving off was incredible, and I didn't want its lights to blow out the foreground. I love this photo. The car trail is awesome, it's lit the foreground beautifully, and the Milky Way is well positioned in the left. The next problem I had, besides working on my settings, was the astrophotographer I was with then decided to cut into my composition. Which, to be fair, I do still really like this photo, which I titled Master at Work. But unless I wanted him to be in all my other photos, I now needed to move. So just as I found my next spot, perched on this rock, setting's still not great, but I'd up the ISO to 3200. Planes everywhere in that shot, and still too dark. Then a car comes just round that corner. The first two shots aren't great, but third time lucky, I capture this. I love this. Would have almost been perfect if I got these settings right at the start, as I would love to have captured the full car trail coming right from around the corner. But given the circumstances, I'm really happy with it. After this, I finally had some time to chill and tweak my settings a little bit. Switch the camera to portrait mode so I can try and catch more of the Milky Way. And I upped the ISO to 6400 and I captured this. So when the next car came around that corner, I was ready for it. Milky Way is clearer, it's in a better position in the sky, and I just kept shooting. Loved this one. Even managed to catch a meteor near the core. After that, I put the camera back in landscape and just left it shooting. They were coming out good, but I suppose the biggest advantage I had about being stuck up this mountain and not moving from this rock because of that small drop that I mentioned, it meant that I had plenty of time to tweak my settings and try and get the composition perfect, or as happy as I was going to be scouting it at night. I dropped the ISO to 3200, but upped the exposure time to 30 seconds, and I captured this, which is my favourite photo of the night by far. You can see more of the foreground, a low mist come creeping in through the right, and a meteor in the top corner. Absolutely love it, perfect timing. But that's not even the best part. So happy with that photo, I left the Nikon Z5 just running, just shooting photos, because I wanted to have a play with this. That's my new Olympus OM5. I haven't had this camera long, and I was dying to test it out with some astrophotography. So I brought a prime lens, 17mm, which is the equivalent of a 35mm for the full frame, f1.8, which should be really good in low light, so I was really excited to try it out. After some very shocking and out of focus shots, we got there in the end. But what I thought I'd do, since the Nikon was shooting in this direction and covering all Caban Coch Dam and the Milky Way this way, I thought I didn't want the same type of shot. So I pointed the camera over here towards these cliffs. Thankfully, we weren't going all the way up there that night. I'm quite glad we only went halfway up, and it's steep enough as it is, but up there, yeah, I wouldn't have fancied my chances up there that night. This is where scouting your location ahead of time would have been really helpful, because I didn't realise how stunning this composition was. All the fern here, the cliff there, and the night sky here. So when I pointed the OM5 in this direction, I just took the shot. The cliff just looks striking in this image. The ferns in the foreground, and that is the Andromeda Galaxy in the top. And this is where you can get really lucky in astrophotography. As I kept shooting these cliffs, I caught a meteor in one of the photos. And I noticed there seemed to be a number of meteors coming in from this direction. This, again, where scouting a location ahead of time would have been handy, and researching the night sky, I probably would have found out that there was a Perseid meteorite shower started 2 days before we started shooting here. So I'm pretty sure it was these meteors that I was catching, even though it's just the start of the shower. I think the main shower is in August. But I noticed quite a few of them. So I thought I'd just point the OM camera up and snap. How incredibly lucky is this shot? Not one, but two meteors. The tail ends of the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy all in one shot. So many amazing compositions around here as well if I'd scouted it out in the day. All these ferns here and the road there. I could have moved myself about, and then you look over here, it's quite safe, like you're quite far from the edge. I could have set the camera up a bit more and a bit more sort of wiggle room. But yeah, at night time when you're up here, I was just like, nope, found a spot, sat down, didn't move, and then played around with the settings a bit more. But yeah, it's stunning. It's absolutely lush, look at it. Great location to shoot at. But yeah, I'm excited now to explore the rest of Elan Valley. I had such a great time here the other night. I was just so excited to get back out and about and shoot some astro photos. I haven't been out all year. I don't know if that was the weather, or just work, or just, you know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on the video, on astrophotography in general, in the comment section below. And I'll leave you now with a short time lapse that I managed to capture when I was up here the other night. Until next time, bye!